I don't give a fuck about you and Kai Cenat. Go find some niggas your fucking age.
How old is Drake, by the way?
Oh, these kids.
That's not what keep you popping. Dog, this album is going to be the most streamed album in Spotify history.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers. So, Drake just released a new album, and it seems like every time Drake releases a new album, there's always some controversy circulating around it, so it's hard to tell what's actually the controversy, what's actually the rollout. Regardless, though, something felt different about the story we're getting ready to talk about.
Everything feels different right now.
For those that don't know, the reason why Joe Budden's on the screen right now is that he had some interesting criticism of the music of Drake, the man himself, and how some of his lifestyle choices may be influencing a lack of evolution within his music.
I miss the Drake that was rapping for the rappers. I miss the Drake that when he dropped, the rappers hit him. Not these little fucking kids. I don't give a fuck about you and Kai Cenat. That's gonna sound like, hey, go find some niggas your fucking age.
How old is Drake, by the way?
37?
Yeah, 37?
37.
All right, just for context.
Hang out with them. Get some of that sauce.
That's not what keeps you. No, that's not what keeps you popping.
Older niggas
Oh, these
music.
kids.
That's not what keep you popping.
All I can think about is that Michael Jordan meme.
If that's the game he playing, I gotta play this game.
All the
to stay
older
popping.
niggas streaming music
Dog.
and buying it, Joe? No.
Dog, all
Them
that,
niggas listen
all
to
that,
old school
all that
shit all day.
All that shit y'all saying for me applies to the field. I have long before called this nigga the golden child. Different set of rules apply.
Correct.
He's him. He is not one of them that y'all telling me about. I don't hold him there.
Dog, this album is going to be the most streamed album in Spotify history.
The argument that Joe Budden seems to be making is that there's a different expectation that we generally have as hip-hop listeners, as fans of some of these artists, that when they reach a certain age, right? I use Jay-Z, for example, for the 444 album.
Yeah.
We get a different POV. We get a different type of storytelling, something that's more relevant around their age.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could hear an evolution between Nothing Was the Same. Say I've been locked up away from music for a long time.
Yeah.
If I listen to one project versus this one, I hear an evolution in the production, not so much in the artists themselves. That's at least my opinion about it. When I'm hearing this, should your music be a reflection of where you're currently at, especially in a genre like hip hop, where it's an extension of your self-expression and it's very personal to you. It's not like pop music.
Yeah. It's tricky when you're Drake. Of the big three, the Kendrick, Drake, Cole, he's the one that drops every single year, right?
Facts.
He's the one who gives Lucy's. He does the features. He's doing collaborative stuff with other artists as well. You can only give us checkups on how life's been so often if you're doing a tour since the last project dropped.
Because that is your life.
That's your life, right? So
that's a good point.
There's not a lot of content he can drop to maintain substance, in my opinion. Is it our fault he still wants to drop albums? No.
Yeah.
You know, it's not our responsibility to build the content for him. So he's cranking out too much music, and the music's taking a hit for it.
Nigga, you walking in with the glow. I do what I want, and that's what's going to be popping.
I mean, he has the power for that.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
This is the thing that maybe my bias starts to become a little bit more than just this unbiased point of view that I've had. I had high hopes for Drake to be the pivot where you extend the age that is an expectation of our biggest artists. That's what Jay-Z did, right? Jay-Z said, as I get in my 40s, I'm not going to start to emulate what y'all are doing younger than me. I'm going to find what this next evolution is, involve some young production, kind of like almost like sample, like when he got around the Young Guns, and it's like a little bit of sampling here and there. That is what kind of keeps him not only relevant, but also keeps him evolving. I kind of have the expectation of Drake, and to a certain degree, to his credit, he does do that with a lot of young artists. It just seems like there's no separation between age when I listen to projects. I hear separation between relationships.
Yeah.
And this girl that he used to talk to at the Buffalo Wild Wings that all of a sudden is married now, and like but even that seems to be changing.
And, you know, for me, what I've noticed a lot is, and let's think about it from the perspective of the only people we can somewhat compare Drake to is Jay-Z and Kanye West.
Okay.
He's in a place hip-hop has never had a person in before right now. We have no one to actually compare him to. His statistics are compared to Michael Jackson and the Beatles now.
Yeah.
What he's doing is uncharted territory, and we all have our hopes and dreams of what he's going to do with that territory.
Right.
What will he pioneer with it? Is he going to make music for the people that have grown up with his catalog, or is he going to continue to try to go into new areas and bring in new people when he already has the world in his hand.
Where's the motivation? Great point. If I could do whatever I want to do, and it's gonna pop, it's gonna be number one. It's gonna do all of this. Where is the motivation?
That wasn't what I was saying, but that was a double
entendre.
But wait, that's not what I was saying. But that was a double entendre. I was saying whatever I do is going to dictate.
Yeah. So now you could do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
But to Ice's point, I'm agreeing with Ice. But when J. Cole comes in that booth and y'all was there together, that's your motivation. You don't go Marlene, Darlene,
Let's
Charlotte.
pause it there. Let's pause it
Pause
there.
it right there.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Because listen, this is where the excuses for Drake get erased.
Yes.
Talk
about it.
He put a man from his freshman class on his album. That man came with smoke and bullets, and told Drake, he basically has the best verse on Drake's album.
Period.
He has probably in the top 10 verses of this year, he might have 5 or 6.
Yeah, easily. The Lil Yachty verse is insane.
Yeah, he hopped on the Yachty music, something not in his age range, not in his normal sonic.
And he didn't do the Yachty thing.
He didn't sound like Yachty.
Sound like J. Cole on a Yachty record.
It sounded like Yachty on a J. Cole record.
Good point.
Which is what we used to get from Drake, right? Every feature sounded like Drake featuring Drake. That's the old bar.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you think there's any records like that the last 2 or 3 years?
No, because he too busy walking around Hometown Buffet and sampling culture.
And I'm not gonna say that negatively, but
well, shit, I will, because how many different accents can you get away with to the point that they're making right here? The Ish is making, like, you can do whatever you want at some point in time because you're that guy. These views are expressed by Curtis King and Curtis King only. But I have a big issue with all the cultures that he sampled. There's a thin line between what they call culture vulturism, and between showing appreciation and paying homage.
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where it's like, we know you're monetizing every time you're doing this.
Yeah. You can absolutely feel that way and not be wrong, right?
Right.
He's definitely dipping into, just for one album, Bomba Clat Drake. Next album.
It's sickening.
Next album, Spanish Drake, or whatever.
Bad Bunny Drake.
I still sounded Jamaican when I said that. Or he can be UK Drake, right? And he's doing it for a project and then jumping ship. There's no denying that. But here's where things become an actual problem, because it's not an actual problem.
Sure, it's not.
The actual problem is when you're doing it and you don't sound better than the people who already do it.
We already got that.
When he did the UK drill music, he actually sounded better than a lot of those artists. He took their sound and enhanced it, right? When he hops on the dance hall, he makes it sound Americanized and digestible for people who don't have that culture.
We're not of that,
Yeah, they're not from there. We go, oh, I didn't know I like dance hall.
Yeah.
Now he's hopping on these young kid songs, and we go, come on, big dog.
We got one Yeet. When I heard that Yeet record, I was like, please don't do it.
This is the first time that I think he sounds like he's on other people's stuff, and he is leeching their sound. It sounds like it a little bit.
Which I think that for all the arguments of, because I love the fact that he's embracing the youth. However, embracing the youth doesn't mean having to shit on the OGs in the process. It doesn't have to mean that.
It should never mean that.
You're the bridge now. You're not too old to be considered like not relevant in terms of the young one, right? And you're not so young that the OGs are not like, you've been around for some time, right? You was opening up for Bun B at one point in time. Like, you've been around this for a long time. With that, you have a unique position to say, you have a point, you have a point. What can I do to bridge that? Music producers, rappers, and singers, are you looking to get some constructive feedback on your newest music? Joining Critique My Beats is super easy. All you got to do is reserve a pass to critiquemybeats.com. Click on book a slot and choose if you want to get 1 beat review, 2 beat reviews on our live stream every Monday. Best beat and best song of the night is going to win a cash prize. Join us at critiquemybeats.com.
And that's why I have a problem.
That's where your motivation comes from.
Look, hold on. And
And
that's
y'all can't do that and then tell me that y'all the Spider-Man meme. Because no, it wasn't.
Who said that?
Whoever said it.
That's my problem. That's my problem. Cole is right there, but you won't kill this nigga. You still putting him, it's me and you. It's me and you. No, separate yourself.
No.
Separate yourself.
You talking about with Cole?
Yes. Tell him, you too.
Cole is lying to these niggas.
I know you lying, but claim it.
I said months ago that all
problem.
these niggas get together.
He already paused himself. Yeah. But he did allude to part of the issue is he's hanging out with the younger gamers and that gamer culture. He's hanging out with the younger streamers. He's hanging out with younger women. And because of that, he thinks that, or his theory at least, is that that is influencing the type of music he's making and who he's trying to make it relevant for.
Yeah. When you've been at the top of music for 15 years,
right,
you should have some, you should be equipped with the knowledge and wisdom to navigate this a little better.
All right. So this is what the man had to say. Joe Budden, you failed at music.
40, what up?
You left it behind. Do what you are doing in this clip, because this is what actually pays your bills. I got to do this in a Sus Bunny voice. For any artist watching this, just remember you are watching a failure. Give their opinion on the idea of a recipe for success. A quitter. Give their opinion on how to achieve longevity. You switch careers because the thing that popped in your brain had you broke, living check to check. He even spelling it like he
put accents.
Some young shit. He put accents in his text is insane. And the raps you write had 450 men showing up to your shows in dusty and Nietzsche jeans to screw up their face to Mood Music 29.
Hey, yo.
That was way too specific.
You got to be a fan to know that much detail. You have to. You have to. To be able to, the person who talks the best SHIT about you is someone who knows a lot about you.
Why 29? Is that your favorite? And pretend you are the GOAT. Please, to any artist that's doing what they feel is right, don't let these opinions affect your mindset after the fact. My question is, this feel like, he don't need a dog whistle, but this feel like a dog whistle. He didn't address all artists. He talking to you. He talking to you. And I'm looking around like he wasn't talking to me. He talking to you.
You trying to gang up on y'all hear him?
Y'all hear him
talking about us?
He talking about us. This ain't no us. Please, to any artist that doing what they feel is right, don't let these opinions affect your mindset after the fact. This guy is the poster child of frustration and surrendering. You retired and we never hung up your jersey. We don't even remember your number. We know you for doing this. You withdrew from rap not because you accomplished all you need to. It's because it isn't working for you. I never want anybody in this generation, there we go again, to think that the whole everybody's entitled to their opinion is a real thing.
That's a weird statement there.
Huh?
Here's the thing. He's right. Everyone's not entitled to an opinion. But who you're talking to? The man you're directing this at is very much entitled to an opinion.
I can't wait to pull some receipts.
Oh,
this is a man projecting his own self-hate and the fact that I did and continue to do everything he wanted to do for himself. If you need it, put it in simpler terms, I own a 767. He owns a modest house in the 900 or the 973 and flies first class on special occasions. Nigga, you just described about 80% of your fan base. How could you feel as a fan? It's like, I don't never fly first class. What you think of me?
He is in a moment of vulnerability. After this album came out, he is feeling very vulnerable with the way this album's reception was, and it has to be more vulnerable than any project he's dropped in his entire career.
Why is that?
Because we've never seen Drake this vocal and verbal with someone who's ragged on an album from him before.
Right.
Drake didn't do this.
He didn't do this.
And Views got actually roasted by Joe Budden. I'm actually blown away this happened.
All right, this is on his actual Instagram. So he posts up, I thank God for this life and not having to come to rush conclusions on Best Buy podcast mic. It is really interesting, and it's really disappointing to hear someone that you know, or maybe you don't know, is a huge fan of Joe Budden. It's been documented a few different times.
I'm happy, I'm honored, I'm honored to be around you, man. This is the first time.
Yo, come on.
Okay, so I can't be honest on your network here. I can't be honest to your fans and say I'm honored to be around you.
We're not honored to be around me.
We all used to listen to you, so I don't need. You need to take. You need. That's what you need. You need to learn how to take compliments.
I think I take compliments.
No, you don't take compliments, bro. You think everybody bullshitting.
I'm jaded, right?
I got this. Man, I'm genuinely saying it's an honor to be around Joe Budden. It's the first time we've met.
Oh,
yeah. I'm saying formally.
It's an honor to be around you. That babyface Drake show was different.
And for anyone who's thinking that he's pretending here for a relationship or something, nah, there's an extensive receipt.
It is like, fast forward, it sounds like night and day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you used to stretch out the vowels, like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But, you know, moving forward, it changed. Was that stemming from that situation with Wayne?
I think that was just the times, man. It was like finding myself. You know, you can always hear a rapper finding themselves if you give them more than like 5 or 10 years, you know? So yeah, I mean, I used to rap like Budden back in the day.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
There's no way this could be real life. There's no way this is actual content right now. This is too easy.
With the way I used to try and get like certain flows off, and then
some may say, I never heard Drake sound like Joe Budden.
I heard rappers wanna get into it until they hear the mixtape.
Pump it up.
I used to pay just to get in fluid.
for someone to be at the top of the game, and not saying that you can't defend yourself at the top of the game, but we've seen them react very differently in these situations. It's almost like I'm too high up to even have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
If you truly feel like that, or if you have respect for your OG, my question is, why make it a public situation? Because it seems like you're trying to get kikis and laughs from your 19-year-old gamer friends, as opposed to the folks who actually supported you on the way up.
It's very surprising that Drake would respond that way, and all you can assume is that this is more than just a critique.
Sure.
And let's even dig into the critique. I think Joe Budden has a level of investment in the Drake music when he reviews it more than any other artist. Their relationship and his views, I think he sees in Drake what he wanted to be as an artist, for sure. And he maybe is more invested because of that, you know? So when he reviews a Drake album, he's reviewing it like that's his son's album.
Damn.
You know?
Because at one point in time, he was giving him that praise, at least from a rap standpoint of like, no, you birthed my sound. I was rapping just like you.
Yeah.
My main issue with Drake, from a listener standpoint, I've never met the guy a day in my life. He could be the nicest person in the world. I would never know. My issue is this. I feel like when you come into this culture and you show how much you're of the culture, right? First of all, you're Canadian, and we haven't seen too many representations, at least in the mainstream, from what that means to come from that area, right? So you already have a disadvantage. You're coming from the acting space, first of all, and you're already fighting that uphill battle of an actor trying to rap. Then you get into this culture, and I think about like, man, how would we feel about him as an artist had that Lil Wayne cosign never happened?
It'd be tricky.
It'd be pretty tricky, especially from a hip-hop standpoint. When he got into this beef with Pusha T, and he was saying everything that he wanted to say, he was bringing up his wife's name and all these different things because this is hip-hop, right? The moment that Pusha T says something about his friend, I feel like the real Drake came out. There's certain lines you just don't cross. It's almost like he in the front of the barbershop and everybody gonna look at him like this. You do know what this culture has been, and you don't get to change those rules because of your own entitlement or your own perspective on it. I've always had an issue with that because I'm like, don't say you're of this culture, then wait till you get to 37 to shit on some of the pillars that of your style of this culture. I just look at that and it blows my mind that it's like, who are you trying to impress? Are you trying to impress those younger gamers and streamers that you're now friends with? Are you kikiing and making jokes in private and then bringing them public? I just don't get shitting on the same people that were responsible for you finding who you are today. At the same time, he's entitled to defend himself.
Absolutely.
If somebody is unfairly judging what he's doing, he can do whatever he wants to do.
To be completely objective here, this is a weak Drake album to the Drake standard. This is not Drake's best work. This is on the bottom half of Drake's catalog, discography-wise.
Sheesh.
Compared to all the other albums he's put out.
Right.
Unless he did some experimental dance music or something like he did. But this is on the bottom half of the totem pole.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, DIYers, those are our thoughts. You let me know what you think. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.